Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another hard-hitting episode of the Callous Mind Talking Head Sportscast. This week I am reviewing Week 7 of the National Football League, and I am disclosing my pick results, which were not nearly as stellar as Week 6, but, you know, it is what it is, and that's all it can be, right? So, without further ado, on Thursday night, the Broncos defeated the Saints, so I'd picked that game wrong. The Jags won in London, which was a big game that they really needed, and I picked that one right. The Seahawks go on the road to Atlanta and roll the Falcons like that. I didn't really anticipate that, quite honestly, but it's a good win for the Seahawks, and it brought them back to 4-3, and kind of surprising loss by the Falcons, but that's the way the ball bounces sometimes. The Bills roll over the Titans, no big surprise there. The Bengals outlast the Browns in their AFC North matchup. In that game, Deshaun Watson is carted off the field, and now he's out probably for the remainder of the year with a torn Achilles, I believe. So that's bad news for the Browns, but it actually may end up being a blessing. I mean, I don't ever want to say that a person getting hurt is a blessing, but they seemed hell-bent on sticking with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, even though he was, for all intents and purposes, pretty ineffective. So this may give the Browns the opportunity to either tank and get a number one or very high draft pick, or perhaps they'll find magic with a different quarterback. I don't know, but either way, I've spoken about it before. It seems like the Deshaun Watson contract and trade has just been an overall bust for the Cleveland Browns, which is unfortunate. And I wonder if anybody in the organization will pay a price for that. I wonder if that was a directive that came down directly from ownership to try and get Watson, or if that was the GM's idea. I just wonder if there's going to be any consequences for the decision that has turned out to be an ugly one. The next game, the Packers squeaked by the Texans. Man, what a good game, 24-22, but the Packers get that win at home, move to 5-2, and the Texans fall to 5-2, so only their second loss of the season. Texans are still in safe territory there. The Dolphins lose to the Colts. That was another game that I picked correctly, because I still feel like the Dolphins can't score any points. And, what can you say about that? And look at the Lions and Vikings there. Lions 31, Vikings 29. Classic NFC North battle. And it was a grind right down to the end there. But the Lions did get that all-important divisional win, and they moved to 5-1, and the Vikings fall with their first loss there to 5-1. So that puts the Lions in control of the division there, since they have a game in hand against the Vikings. The next game, the Eagles roll the Giants in an NFC East matchup. The Raiders fall to the Rams 20-15, so no hoisting the colors this week, unfortunately. And speaking of that, this is going to be the last week that I mindlessly just picked the Raiders due to fandom. I'm always going to root for the Raiders to win, but I'm going to stop picking them as far as my picks go, because if I'm trying to maximize my win-loss record in making my picks, I can't let my fandom interfere with that. And it's just like wagering as far as I'm concerned. I don't like to wager on teams that I actually have a rooting interest in. And the reason being is because it corrupts my view. So I will no longer be picking the Raiders every week unless I actually feel like they can really, really win. And with their quarterback position in dire straits, I'm just not sure that they can score enough points to win in this league. I mean, maybe, but man, it just puts pressure on everybody else when you don't have a capable, competent quarterback who can just at least make the bare bones minimum plays, you know. The next game, the Panthers lose to the Commanders, but Jaden Daniels did leave that game, so that's something we'll have to take a look at moving forward. It looks like Marcus Mariota did come in, though, and get 2 touchdowns, so good for him. And they're, you know, this right here, this is why it's important to have a capable backup, because if your number one guy goes down, God forbid, then at least you have somebody who's competent behind them, that the wheels just don't come completely off of your season or that particular game. The next game, the Chiefs roll the 49ers in San Francisco and move to 6-0. The Jets fall to the Steelers, and Russell Wilson was looking good in that Steelers black and gold. Tell you what, and the Steelers put up a season high 37 points, man. Wow. Look out. I'm telling you, if the Steelers ever get to the point where they can score points like that and play defense the way they do, woo, gonna be a tough team to beat, man. Then on Monday Night Football, we had 2 games. The Ravens beat the Buccaneers in Tampa, so that's a pretty good win for them. And the Cardinals win a squeaker at home against the Chargers, and the Chargers were looking pretty offensively inept in that game too. And I don't know if that's because they're offensively inept or if it's because the Cardinals defense, but if we just split it down the middle, either way, it was a gritty, gutsy performance by the Arizona Cardinals at home on Monday Night Football, and that's exactly what they needed. It'll pick the spirits of the city up for at least a week anyway. And I think the Cardinals actually have some winnable games coming down the road here. As a matter of fact, I think in Week 8 they play Miami, so I may have to jump back on picking the Cardinals because, I mean, if the Cardinals can score 11 points, then they could probably beat the Miami Dolphins, and that's for real. So, just saying. As far as my 2024 Week 7 pick results, I was 8 wins and 7 losses. So, just a little bit above 500, but there's that Raiders loss working against me. And the, let's see, what is it? The Jets. I figured that would have been at least a much more competitive game than it was. Probably was a lot too much to ask the Jets to go on the road and win in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. But it would be a hell of a story, right? And then the Chargers, you know, losing and being that offensively inept against the Cardinals, I didn't really foresee that either. So, but overall, I mean, 8 and 7, it could be worse. I know that for a fact because I have had worse weeks, you know. So it is what it is, right? All right, so let me jump over here. See, Adam saying, Chiefs still winning but looking very beatable this year. Bears will be grabbing that dynasty crown from Mahomes' head in the next 2 to 3 years. Oh, man, Adam's calling the shot. Wow. He said Tua coming back and is refusing to wear that silly oversized concussion bumper cap. Looks like Dark Helmet from Spaceballs. Oh, my God, dude, that is too much. Well, I tell you, Tua coming back is good for Miami, but the reality is that they were not an offensive juggernaut even when he was playing. So I don't know if they have an overly complicated offense or what it is, but man, I am just not impressed at all with Miami's offense and ability to score points, especially given the fact that they have a Hill on that team, right? So the dude's fast, but they just don't seem to have it. So I just don't know, bro. I have questions about Miami, you know, and I wonder if this is going to be their coach's last year because you know, they're going to have somebody take the fall for not making the playoffs or not advancing far enough or whatever. So I'm just saying that I think that Tua's days in Miami are numbered, and possibly their head coach's days in Miami are numbered as well if this season doesn't straighten out. And that's a tough division to do it in, the AFC East. So you can't fall too far behind. And you know, if they score 20 or more points in 3 consecutive weeks, I may start being a believer in the Miami Dolphins. And it pains me to say that because I like to see Miami win, but man, I'm just telling you that their history, matter of fact, let's go over here and just take a quick look at their schedule for this year and see how many points that they've scored, because I don't think it's been nearly that many. So, but saying that they are still currently second in the AFC East at 2-4, so that doesn't say very much, but I think the Jets will probably start to come on, especially if Devontae Adams comes back and starts playing. But let's see what they've scored. So the regular season, they won 20-17 against the Jags. They lost 31-10 to the Bills, 24-3 to the Seahawks. They lost 31-12 to the Titans. To the Titans, they lost 31-12. They beat the Patriots 15-10, and then they lost to the Colts 16-10. So Miami has scored 10, 15, 12, 3, 10, and 20 points for the season. So an offensive juggernaut, they are not. Maybe an offensive juggernaut, but not an offensive juggernaut. So that's just kind of my take. And like I said, it pains me to say that, because I like to see Miami be good, but perhaps it's just not in the cards with this coach and quarterback combination, or with this quarterback, or the offense is overly complicated. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but I can tell you that they just don't seem to have the answer in Miami this season. So, all right, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode, and I sincerely appreciate you all taking the time and spending it with me today. Adam, as always, I appreciate you contributing to the store, and I appreciate the laughs with the looks like the dark helmet from Spaceballs. Love it, love it. And so the next video this week will just be an upload. I'm not going to worry about doing a Thursday live stream. But thank you all for taking some time and spending it with me today. I do sincerely appreciate it. And until next time, please, please, please be good to yourselves and each other, and I'll talk to you soon. And God bless.